this is a particularly weak critique. And the two people who are making it, Christopher Kavanagh and Matthew Brown, they just have no expertise in politics. So they are talking about things they know nothing about.
Right. That's been, I mean, it's not that there's not some truth in it. Of course there's some truth in it, but that's been a trope for hundreds of years, ever since we had politicians. Before then, we had, as you said, monarchies and aristocrats. And that was it. I don't think they were people of the people either.
No. And so another part of this analysis is essentially it wants to paint all the political parties currently vying as essentially like a grey neoliberal bloc. Like they've got like slight differences in emphasis. Sure, one is pro-Brexit, one is against Brexit, but you know, fundamentally it's all neoliberal shills, however you color it. And so this I thought was an interesting way that they tie together. This is British politics focused, Matt, but I think you'll know the figures that he mentions here.
The conversation vividly, we said there is a unique historic opportunity here for Boris Johnson and the Conservatives to reshape the country. And they squandered that opportunity. They lost that opportunity. Why did they? I would suggest, as I argue in the book, is that because conservative elites basically are too culturally liberal and too economically liberal to connect with the voters who are looking for somebody to reassert their values in the system. And so all we've really had since Brexit is a continuation of what you might call the liberal consensus, which has basically dominated British politics for much of the last 30, 40 years. Margaret Thatcher, was needed. I accept the idea that, Thatcher's reforms, in my mind, at the time, they were needed. But what she did is she injected this radical economic liberalism, deregulated the economy, liberalized finance, embraced globalization, or what Danny Roderick has called hyper-globalization, the routine prioritization of big business, of big corporates over the national community. And that was followed by Blair. And Blair then came along and he injected radical cultural liberalism. He said, hey, we're going to strip away the borders of the national community. We're going to have mass immigration. We're going to have European integration. We're going to take meaningful choice out of politics. Left and right are essentially going to become the same thing. Brexit, populism, the realignment were really an attempt by voters to break that consensus, to challenge that consensus.